This is Stars and Scopes with your friend Uma. Updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, take a look at your rising sign first if you know it, and do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're interested in your birth chart, check out the readings page at umaruby.com, and if you'd like to support the work, head over to buymeacoffee.com/umaruby and you can buy me a coffee. Finally, if you're a visual learner, look up Uma Ruby Tarot on YouTube and you can watch and learn. Okay, let's take a look. Hello Gemini and Gemini Rising, welcome to your horoscope for the Lunar Eclipse in Taurus, happening on November the 8th at 2 minutes past 10 p.m. if you're in the Southern Hemisphere with me. So if you're in the Southern Hemisphere with me, I believe we'll see this eclipse, and it's a full one. So I'm going to leave it to you whether you want to look at it or not. I always did. That was always something that I really kind of enjoyed, to see the spectacle of an eclipse. However, in my kind of learning and study and different opinions that I've been absorbing and taking in, there are some folks that say it's probably best to, like, you definitely acknowledge the eclipse, of course, but maybe not to sort of be directly under it. That's an intense short circuit to experience. In the ancient days, folks would think that it was a smite from the gods, and there was a lot of fear attached to eclipse season. We don't approach it with fear, but just in terms of the kind of surge of energy that it might present, that it might bring with it. It might not be something that you want to look at. I don't know. It's up to you. I'm still working it out for myself. I don't know how I feel about it, although I do think back to a couple of eclipses in my years and definitely the repercussions that followed. Quite severe ones. Interesting. Okay, so for you, this lunar eclipse, this is the third that we've experienced in Taurus in the last 12 months. So I want you to think about November the 19th and April the 30th as two. So November the 19th of 2021, last year, and April 30th-ish of this year, because there might be some sleuthing that you can do as far as the clues as to what's showing up and in what capacity. This eclipse is in your 12th house, which is where we dream, Gemini. It's where we have access to the unconscious universe. It's the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th dimension. It's the place that informs our dreams. It's the place where we can peep behind the veil, behind the High Priestess's veil. So it's a really beautifully juicy spiritual area. To have an eclipse there might be confronting, The eclipse that happened in your 6th house of health and rhythm and ritual and body and all of that kind of thing was, maybe the starter to what we can maybe experience in the opposite side of life. So if you think the 6th is like the practical, the bit of life that we can see and touch and feel, the 3D for sure, then the 12th is the other side of that same coin. So yeah, I want to have a little look at the tarot here. So the moon is in an exact conjunction with Uranus at this lunation at 16 degrees apiece. So it's almost like a full Uranus as well, because the sun's directly opposite. Full Uranus, full moon, so revolutionary rebelliousness is going to have an emotional power outage. I'm going to show you the card, babes. So 16 degrees of Taurus is the 6 of Pentacles. Now, I think that we've spoken about this card before. It's the card of regeneration, and it's the card of giving and receiving, of allowing yourself to put your hand out when you're in need, and then when you find yourself in a space where you have enough, to pay it forward and to seek out those that might need a helping hand. It's a beautiful card of sharing. And in resources, I see this as some sort of, there's something deeper here for you, I think, Gemini, because we are talking about the 12th house. We are talking about that unconscious realm. You know, I wonder if there's going to be some kind of obvious imagery that pops up in your dreamscape, things that come to you at this time, maybe things that you weren't expecting, or images or souls or energies that you've missed, that you haven't seen for some time. That could be something that comes up here. I feel it as sort of supportive. I think we can probably look forward to this eclipse I'll show you where the sun is. Maybe this will help me. The sun is at the Six of Cups in Scorpio, which is nostalgic energy. It's the card of remembering pleasure, remembering happiness, remembering fond times, remembering emotional bonds, maybe that don't exist anymore. If there was things that you didn't get to say, Gemini, then I wonder if you might get a chance to say them at this eclipse. I wonder if you might be able to get it off your chest, or experience that emotion in dreamland. There might be some things, images that come washing through your unconscious, some memories, some fond ones, some remembrances, which always sting a little bit, don't they? It's sort of such a bittersweet thing to be visited by someone or an energy that is not present anymore. And so I think I can, because I want to talk about Saturn too. I want you to feel ready for this eclipse. I want you to feel kind of like calm and chill about it, and allow it to happen, allow it to emerge. Don't be frightened. I think probably we can use this reading as just a little, a helpful preview. So perhaps if you are finding yourself flooded with memories from the past or times gone by in dreamlands, and you sort of wake up thinking, filled viscerally with those emotions attached to that time and place and company. I know what it feels like to wake up and they're not there. That's something that I know very well. So maybe we can use this reading as a gentle, sort of predictive support, that if it happens, it's an opportunity to think about the 12th house and to think about what happened in that dream, to think about how magical it is to be communicated with in that way, to think about the vastness of your unconscious mind. We only know so much in the waking day. We use a bit of our brain. What on earth else is going on? How lovely that you got to exchange, that you got to converse with this energy again, that you got to hug and kiss and whatever it is that you may get up to in this dream. I'm looking at the T-square that's happening at this lunation too. So the moon's in an exact conjunction with Uranus, revolutionary, opposite the sun in Scorpio, both of them forming this square with Saturn in Aquarius, who's been a major player for all of our lives lately. Saturn's still hovering around at the Six of Swords space in the zodiac, which is great boundaries, healthy boundaries. that for you is in your ninth house, Gemini, which is philosophy and spirituality and higher learning and travel and mind expansion, all of those sorts of things. So what I'm sensing and seeing here is a really great message that if there's any fear or sorrow that arises, perhaps with this communion, perhaps with this recollection or this deep dive, wherever it is that you do go in the 12th, don't know, you might not talk to anyone, you might just be going on a journey. I want you to hold the Six of Swords in your back pocket. I want this to be your Saturnian healthy boundary so that you don't get too overwhelmed by the depth of the 12th. Yeah? So Six of Swords is moving on from turbulent water, isn't it? Moving to a reflective surface, moving to a space to calm and to collect oneself. For this to be in your ninth house, I think there's definitely ritual that you can enact. There's definitely protection spells, ceremonies, whatever word you like to use, that you can incorporate into your experience around the eclipse. That now it's gentle to, try and do spell work or activate anything, because it is the universal power outage. But in terms of protection and, binding yourself from harm and all of that kind of stuff, you can do that. You can do that at, any hour of the day. But I think that it might be a really healthy thing for you to do, Gemini, at this eclipse, because think of November 19th, think of April 30th. How did those last eclipses manifest themselves in your experience, and what were you called back to remember again, or what pathway, where did you go? Where did you go in that 12th house? Now, I've got your intuitive tarot here as well, Gemini. So I got the Ace of Wands, the Five of Pentacles, and the Eight of Wands. So I see this as almost like a if you can manage it, take note of the messages that come to you in this 12th house meditation, this dreams around the eclipse. Take note of what potential solutions might be being brought forward, because this central energy of the Five of Pentacles is definitely that feeling of being shut out, of being sort of like locked out from the warmth. We've crossed this ground before in our readings. If there's something that you're working on, or something that you're kind of, toiling away at, or if there's a big fear of lack, a fear of poverty that's sort of showing itself to you again and again, there, at this dreamland, at this eclipse, I've got the Ace of Wands here. That's an offer. That's a magical offer. And then I got the Eight of Wands, which is a whole bunch of direction, fast moving action, spell, crafted, boom, all with perfect precision. So I wonder if you're kind of sitting at the Seven of Wands at the moment, and maybe this ace, this kind of like, oh, eureka kind of moment for you. Maybe this will happen in those dreams around the eclipse. Yeah. Nice reading, Gemini. I hope that you're doing all right after the solar eclipse in Scorpio. I hope that Scorpio season's treating you all right. There's a lot of things get dredged up from the surface, from them below, don't they, to the surface during the Scorpio season. It's beautiful, it's what we need, but can be tricky. So I hope that you're doing all right, and I hope that this eclipse in the 12th isn't too scary. Don't be frightened. You've got nothing to fear. That's probably a good way to end this one. head to umaruby.com, head to the readings page, and I will read your birth chart for you. There's many different avenues that we can explore down there, and a new one for return clients as well. I added it just at the beginning of Scorpio season, so check it out. I will be speaking to you in 2 weeks for the new moon in Sagittarius, which will be a lovely reprieve from this sort of shedding that we've all had to go through. So we'll be able to activate, we'll be able to cast a circle and ask for what we wish. So that will be lovely. I will be speaking to you then. So take care, Gemini. Sweet dreams.